shows. The gang culture in hip hop can go back to, some people say, Ice-T, NWA. But as far as gangs, we all know gangs are street families. Families, usually groups of youth that have collected and combined in the format of a brotherhood. Sometimes disenfranchised people, disadvantaged people, people without opportunities, or people from fatherless homes. A lot of people see camaraderie in the streets, and it doesn't always end up being a positive thing. You know, it's there's a lot of crime involved. Let's just, let's get down to brass tacks. The thing, how this ties into hip hop. This is a hip hop discussion. It is, Rafiq's reflections, and this discussion revolves around hip hop. Once again, where I'm from, Indiana, something that I saw develop over the years is this idea, this concept of get it how you live. And it goes to the point of a lot of people that are on the outside looking in, on the outside of black culture looking in. I say it like this: you have black culture, or the black experience in America. You have hip hop culture, and then you have the criminal lifestyle. And I think a lot of people think that all three of these are mutually exclusive. Like, you can't be part of the hip hop culture without being a criminal or black, or you can't be black without being a criminal hip hopper, or you can't be a criminal without being black or a hip hopper. It's kind of like a situation where people are guilty before they have a chance to prove themselves innocent. Now, most of us know that it's very possible, and in fact, it's probable, that somebody that's black is not necessarily a criminal or a hip hopper. There are black people that listen to rock music. There are black people that don't listen to hip hop music. There are black people that listen to soul music, R&B music exclusively, reggae music. I'm one of those people. I listen to a variety of things. It's a matter of stereotypes, really, to be honest. That buzzword, stereotypes. But what's unique about the hip hop situation is that it's when the industry got involved, when the corporate world got involved, and rap music started becoming a business and got pulled away from the other elements as the focal point of hip hop, then you get in a situation where the media and the corporations kind of dictate the image of what is hip hop. It basically emanates from the skyscrapers instead of the streets. And then when you present an image that people are familiar to, whether it's a stereotype or not, and they latch onto it and it sells really well, the corporations or corporate world uses that as proof. Well, this is what the people want: supply and demand. That's one of the basic that's one of the fundamentals of business. If there's no demand for it, then then people aren't going to buy it. But the thing is like, you can look at it as a hustler situation, or you can look at it from a cultural situation. And the thing is that there are people out there, just because they don't rap about the streets doesn't mean that what they have to say doesn't have any value. And just because something is blasted over the radio all day doesn't mean that that's really what's the best for the people that are listening, because I believed when I was coming up, I used to always hear from rappers, I'm not a role model, I'm not a role model, and I used to be like, yeah, when I was younger, yeah, just tell them rappers ain't role models, we're out here feeling this music, they're just rebellious, that rebellious instinct. But then as I got older and more mature, it's like, once you're in any position where you're speaking to a lot of people and your voice is reaching a lot of people and you're affecting people, what you say can make them act a certain way. It can affect their emotions, and it make them, if they have respect for you, they'll be like, you know what, he's right. So in a way, you are a role model, whether you want to be or not. That's just the way things are. You present a perspective or point of view that people adhere to or believe in. So it's almost like you're a religious leader or a cult leader. But when it comes to the aspect of gang culture, like I said, where I'm from, there is a plethora of, you run into these kids. A lot of kids, they might be institutionalized or whatever, and their mentality is, get it how you live. Get it how you live. And where the racial divide comes in is if a young white person, male or female, comes at a young black kid and it's like, I'm gangsta, or they think that you're not black enough because you're not acting like a nigga, and that to me is kind of ridiculous, and it's also redundant. But so now you get in a situation where you have a Caucasian kid that is looking at you like he's blacker than you because you're not acting like a hood nigga, a street nigga, In this world where ignorance runs rampant, an intelligent black man really doesn't have any place because he doesn't get respected. He's looked at as a sellout. To speak even like I'm speaking right now, to be intelligent, articulate, to make points and counterpoints, and to say something that means something, that's not respected in that world. And it almost kind of gets, it has like some racist undertones. Hate to play the, what they say, play the race card, But it's like if I'm in a room with 4 white kids, and they're on some, on some thug shit, Let's not take this the wrong way. Regardless of color, if you commit a crime and you live that crime lifestyle and you're a crimey, then you can be considered a thug regardless of race. I'm not saying these white kids are any less thugged out than the black kids. What I'm saying is that when it comes to, when you throw rap in the mix or culture in the mix, it's like there's a level of respect that gets lost. It's like people have to understand that the black experience is plugged into a history of civil rights where black people weren't considered to be human beings. So it's like, when people say things on the internet like, oh, we're from the Midwest, we don't listen to that Wu-Tang shit. We're from the Midwest, we hustlers, we out here hustling. They fail to realize that Wu-Tang studies all that peace God and all that they say peace God. That comes from New York, right? That's a New York culture. But the lessons that they study came from the Midwest. Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, that was based in Chicago. Master Fard Muhammad, when he made himself known from the Nation of Islam, when he founded the Nation of Islam, it was in Detroit. And, this was part of a situation where these leaders, whether you see them as racist or hateful or what have you, they were actually attempting to uplift black people out of a situation where they were being viewed as less than human. So instead of saying you are equal, Elijah Muhammad and Master Fard Muhammad taught, no, you're not equal. You're God. You're God. You're the best. You're not equal. You're better than equal. They're telling you you're nothing. They're telling you you're subhuman when in fact you're above human. And some of these kids out here that just picked up on, grew up on, whatever hood gangster rap is on the radio, don't understand the history and the impact that made on black culture. They don't understand, they don't, that there's cats on there that'll make, oh, so you think you're this didn't really affect me. There was a situation that affected me where I had an event in Indianapolis. And me and some of my comrades were opening for Capadonna, who's an East Coast artist affiliated with Wu-Tang. And we were both opening. We had just got off stage. We did our set. We have a song called God of Medicine. And my verse is, soul controller when they blow the nose off of the great sphinx to captivate your instincts and the gold of the chain links. From G.O.D. to D.O.G. with cleaned up leashes. Soul with solid gold, Jesus and King Tut pieces. Father of medicine, godliest Imhotep. True savior from newspapers, coffee and cigarettes. How can you understand with no knowledge and wisdom yet? Wannabe know-it-alls that downloaded it off the internet. Your independent labels, only records of dental. Devilish and sinful, punished by the lead in my pencil. I meditate on the scriptures that I read in the temple, and y'all snakes got it twisted like the medical symbol. They decipher digits, hieroglyphic dollar signs, a chemist, nihilistic 90s lyrics, third eye of a chemist. They try to mimic the divine shine, but the sky's the limit. It's my religious duty and proof of the scientific. But anyway, after we did that song, God of Medicine, there are 4 of us on that song, and we killed it. Got a good response from the crowd. And I don't know if it was a situation where it was, you know, the thing is rappers have an egotistical mind state 9 times out of 10. That's, you know, that's just a thing. You know, it's competitive culture, and that is part of it. That ties into it. Rappers have an ego, it's an ego-driven community. And a lot of situations, if you get more attention than somebody, or you're in a situation where your performance is getting a good response and people are coming up to you afterwards and people are vibing out to you and responding while you perform, sometimes people get a little jealous. You throw alcohol in the mix and it gets, you know, it can get a little wild, but it wasn't that bad. It's just the next opening act after us, which happened to be 3 white rappers, and you know, we're all talking about righteous stuff, like what I just said. Like we have depth and complexity to our lyrics, and we're talking about something that means something, you know. And these kids got up there, not to take anything away from them, but it's like, I'm in the hood out here hustling and stacking this paper and I get it how I live and and all that, you know. It's all good. Do what you do. Do you outdo me. We can agree to disagree and peacefully coexist. But when you start overstepping the boundaries, you know, I get a situation where they were like, peace, God, before their song. Peace, God. Yo, God. We don't talk like that. We from the Midwest. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're opening for Capadonna. So he's the star of the show. He's the headliner. Now, do you think if he was watching, would he feel what I was just saying? Or do you think he would feel, get it how I live, my nigga, cause it's in the hood, I'm hustling, you know? I'm not knocking that, but it's like, you know, I'm not knocking that by any means, you know? Because I mean, that's real too. That's real based on the circumstance. But I'm saying, if you're gonna treat me like a fucking clown, then you need to be looking at yourself first, you know? Me and my people, or any other group, you know? If you're gonna sit there and look at somebody and try to judge them, then you need to be able to point that same judgmental mentality at yourself and realize like what's up with this, you know? Why am I on stage talking about hood life and street life, and you know, the cats that are, you know, basically you got 4 black dudes on stage talking about something positive, and then 4 white dudes come on stage afterward and they're talking about shooting people and selling dope, and they got an issue with us, you know, instead of vice versa, you know? I'm like, hey, we can peacefully coexist. But anyway, the situation got alleviated. One of my guys approached one of their guys and basically said, you know, what's up with that? You're being disrespectful. And he was pretty I'd say bothered. He wasn't really, I mean, he was visibly bothered, but you know, and they fell back and they said, you know, no, that ain't what it is. Y'all killed it. And I'm like, okay, well, didn't seem that way a few minutes ago, but you know, I mean, you can't, I mean, you just gotta let bygones be bygones sometimes. But anyway, that ties into the whole thing of respect and respect for somebody's culture. You can't call yourself a hip hop head without having respect. You know, I've seen people talk a gang of shit on the internet, like calling, you know, one of my comrades, you know, calling him, oh, okay, Martin Luther King, you know, a white kid with his hat cocked with pictures of guns and his pictures on Facebook. Get it how we live. We out here in these streets. Not giving a fuck, yo. Get it how you live. And it's like, I mean, that's cool, but, you know, do you know the history of where that image comes from? You know, the gang image. That came from black culture. That came from downtrodden and disenfranchised black people. in the hood, in the ghetto, that were put there. They were put there to die. They were left, you know, the have-nots of society. So I'm not saying, like I said, you can be whatever color you want to be. I myself I consider myself black, but I'm biracial. My mother's white, you know, so I mean, you can't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? When I came up, when I was in grade school, I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids. So I mean, you know, this is coming from somebody that knows what he's talking about.